got to get all these shingles off to see what we got under there. Problem with these old barn boards, of course, is there's a million nails in each of them. You definitely don't want to put one of these through a thickness planer. Imagine the damage. These boards are so old that the nails going through them are actually square. I'm very partial to square nails. I like to use them myself, but I can only get them through Lee Valley. It's like they're not the kind of thing that you find at your home hardware store. But I do love square nails. Okay, there's 13. Whoops. And there's 13. Now, you know, I live in the metric system that Wranglerstar loves so much, but when I'm working with wood, you know, in Canada, carpentry is still largely Imperial. I learnt Imperial when dealing with wood. It gives me a sort of sense of, not so much nostalgia, but it's what I'm used to when I'm working with, you know, lumber and stuff. Now when it gets to this part, what I like to do is, instead of taking measurements, which could go wrong, I like to actually fit the pieces together and just mark exactly where I'm going to make my cuts. And I know that that is going to drive some of you crazy, but I just find that it eliminates some of the guesswork for me. Now what I'm doing here may look a little weird, but on this old barn wood, there's a lot of grime that can come off and onto our hands and onto the items that we're going to be putting inside this box. But I don't want to sand it off and then wash it off and ruin the actual, I don't want to say patina, but the effect of the ancient wood. So with this broom, I'm just taking off the built-up grime, but not interfering with the actual discoloration of the wood itself. There are definitely going to be better ways to do this, but this is the one I've come up with. And honestly, you really can't beat a good straw broom for this kind of job, or for anything really. So here's the top. For the back, I think I'll put this inside. It looks a little better. It's, oh. Well, I guess I'm getting the glue back out. Okay, I'll remember to do that sort of at the end. I'm just sort of working out how this is going to go. This is the bottom. Okay, I'll deal with that later. This is left. This is right. And there's up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these together first, and then trim and sand and stuff, everything else to fit with these. Just need to trim this down a little bit because it's a little too high for what I need. I'm not spectacularly good at the spoke shave, to be honest with you. It's not a tool that I've used enough yet. I definitely like it. I'm attracted to it. It's, by the way, this is an old Stanley number 151 that I bought off of someone on I think it was Bushcraft USA. I have a much newer one, but it doesn't have the same magic to it as this at all. The new Mastercraft is not as well made. You know, it's made in the People's Republic of China, which I'm not necessarily anti-Chinese made anything, but I find that when companies move their production somewhere for the affordability factor, they're not taking advantage of the skill that may exist in whichever country they chose. So whereas I don't think that, you know, Chinese manufacturing automatically means crap, I do think that Chinese manufacturing for the sake of affordability is not going to be a good guarantee of quality workmanship. This old Stanley was made in probably the States. Yeah, made in USA right there. Because a lot of these old Stanleys were made in the US or Canada or the UK, and you can find up here a lot of them say made in Canada. And I'm guessing that's because they're the exact same item. They're almost indistinguishable, except for mine all say made in Canada, and some of them say made in the USA. And I think it might have been a way of avoiding the costs associated with shipping something, say, across the Atlantic Ocean or whatever. Just have a factory in the, you know, in the region where your items are going to end up being sold. That's just, it's a suspicion I have. I have no historical information to back that up with or anything. So let's take a look. A little windy here today. Sorry about that, guys. Looks pretty good. I think I'm doing all right here. Now, what I'm hoping is that this little square nail is not going to split everything. I think I need a bigger hammer. I like using this little hammer because it sort of forces me to be a little more ginger and a little more circumspect with my strikes. Sort of in the name of not blasting the piece I'm working on into oblivion or anything, but sometimes you do need a bigger hammer. Yeah, as I've said, I really like these square nails. I like the historical aspect. Let's move this a bit so I don't pound the iPhone into oblivion. I also find that they're better for not necessarily splitting your wood, but that being said, I'm splitting this one. Yeah, that's a lot better. I just used my belt sander this time. I just want to get this project to the point where it's kind of finished. Good, okay, that's good. Now I got to deal with this side again. Just moving it around a bit to get the, you know, to smush the glue around. The barnwood's pretty heavy, so I'm just going to let the weight of the box itself do the work for me while the glue cures. I just wanted to talk to you guys about this screwdriver that I was using to get the shingles off of the old barnwood there. This, I think, is called a machinist screwdriver. It's made by Clico, which, I don't know, it's an old British brand or something. I haven't done a full restore on it or anything yet, but when I got it, the tip was all mushroomed and rusted to hell and everything. So I got that all down to, got that all under control, just using like a hand file. Anyways, I think it's a really nice old tool. Some of you guys know I love old tools. Man, I love them. They don't make stuff like this anymore. Look at the wood on that handle. It's all beat to hell from, like, obviously someone's been whacking on it and everything, but you can tell that this was made with skill. And at some point I'm gonna strip this down, maybe oil it, get some of this under control, maybe just sand it over, get rid of the rest of the rust. But yeah, I really, man, I dig this stuff. I've got I got an old carpenter's brace that I did a partial restore on as well. When I restore these things, every time I restore something, I'm doing something I've never done before. So, you know, my restores are not quite as pristine as what some of the experts out there are doing. But I got some bits for the brace that had been like in a damp basement for 20 years, something like that. So they're all a little rusty. They need some help. One of the sides of the wooden box is missing. That needs some work. I just have to figure out how to restore a drill bit. But I will, because I'm really, really happy. I've used them and they cut and everything, but I think that they deserve a little bit of love. They need to get rid of that, to get rid of the rust. See about maybe, I don't know if you sharpen stuff like that even, you know. But I think I may do a video on that for you guys. So now I'm going to mark inside where I'm going to put the holes for the mounting. I'm measuring down from the bottom of the top board so that when I'm inside, like, I'm measuring from the same place, and I want it to be about center. It doesn't have to be. So it's like six and just over. It's like just over 6 1/4. No, it's not. It's just over. It's almost 1 1/2. Sorry, I'm counting backwards from 7. It's 1 1/2. So I'll put it about there. Oh, here's an interesting thing. My square doesn't fit inside, so I guess I'm going to be drilling from the outside. So, what do we got here? Sam Dilio here. For most of this project, I haven't been exact because we're using such old wood. Kind of the rustic look is part of the object, you know. So like there's a bit of glue here, but you know, it's part of the look. Okay, now I'm getting my center line, which I had already marked on here. Right? Yes. So I'll measure what? 2 inches either side of the center line should be good. I think 2 inches is a little much. I'm gonna go 1.5 inches. Yeah, 1.5 inches is where I want to be. You know, because this is going to be storing 3 rolls of toilet paper, I didn't feel the need to make any kind of framing. You know, it's like this wood is, I think, 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, it's 3/4 of an inch thick. It's nailed, it's glued. I don't need a frame inside it. I wouldn't use barn wood without some sort of supporting frame for anything large, like a table or anything, but just because it's very fragile comparatively. You know, like a lot of the planks I have snapped. So I hope the wind isn't burying my voice. But anyway. So I think that for what this is going to be, it's just about perfect. I'm very happy with it so far, and I think that Mrs. Raindance is going to be very happy as well. So now I'm going to drill it and hang it. This is a 1/4 inch drill bit. You know, part of what I was referring to in that video where I said I didn't really grow up with any of the man skills was even something as simple as knowing that masonry and drywall takes a different drill bit than wood. You know, anyone who knows this stuff is like, well, of course it's a different drill bit. And I just, you know, it was something new to me when I figured that out. Funny, eh? Okay. Couple of anchors. This is a hard area to get into. There's not a lot of not a lot of room to play with. Oh, it looks so weird because I didn't get those holes in straight. But when it's hung, it's going to be just fine. Please note the Robertson, the one true screw. See, the reason I've got this long thing is because in cases like this, where there actually isn't enough room between the screw hole and the surfaces, this thing really helps a lot. Also, the impact driver is an amazing invention, loud though they may be. I just love the way the slower speed but higher torque can get screws into pretty much anything. Success! So just to keep the tool talk going, I just wanted to talk about this. This is my little square. I've got a large framing square as well, of course. This one's got like a spirit level. I don't know what this specific square is called, but what I do know is that I have a major yen for like a sliding square. One, you know, quite a bit longer than this. I've kept my eye out for an old one, just to be in the, you know, the motif of Jesse loving his old tools. Excuse me. But Montreal's not a great town when it comes to looking for stuff like that, you know? You'd think that a city of this size, it would be amazing for everything, but, you know, antique stores are going out of business because of the eBay, right? Like the flea markets that you would think would be amazing for old tools are not. The one I'm thinking most about is Finnegan's Market out in Hudson. It's got a great name, but it's not great for stuff like tools, you know? There's another one in St. Eustache that you have to get to like Tuesday morning. So I'm unsure about when I could get there, but apparently that one's much, much better for old tools and axes and stuff. Because I'm still on the lookout for more axes to restore. That's a skill that I want to keep up, you know? But anyways. So that wasn't really a bushcrafty video per se, but there were two reasons why I wanted to do it anyway. First, I got a lot of support when I did my video on like not having the what I called the man skills and how I'd like to develop them more. And so when my wife got this idea for the little box, I thought, well, why not shoot it? Show you guys, you know, that I'm actually working on this stuff. The second reason is, what I've noticed is, through non-scientific, anecdotal evidence, a lot of bushcraft types also really like DIY and building stuff, and, you know, and working with old tools and stuff. And so I feel that it's of interest to a lot of you guys to see this kind of stuff as well. If I'm right or wrong, you know what to do. Let me know down in the comments below the show notes. So if you like this video and maybe you'd like to see more, then subscribe, share, give me a smiley thumb. If you didn't like this video, as I always say, give me a frowny thumb. Thanks for watching, guys.